All right, what is going on, everybody? It is a new week, and we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. I want to preview a couple games that are happening this week. Obviously, March Madness is happening, so NBA primetime games are sort of on the light side, but nevertheless, we have stuff to talk about in the women's game. In college, we have Anthony Davis returning last night, and we have Bronny James's big game from the other night as well. I'm just gonna hit on a few things, not get too deep into it, and just give you guys something to listen to. Let's get right into it. So let me hit the games first, and then we will talk about some uh, some hot topics that are going around. The first game I want to talk about is Golden State in Miami. A very interesting game for players involved. Not so much the matchup because I think the Warriors can get this one pretty easily, but obviously it's Jimmy Butler's return to Miami after that whole debacle with with his old team. Um, I did hear that Steph Curry did travel with the team. He did injure his back. I think that was maybe a game or two ago. He's been out. It says he's day to day. Um, he is in Miami with the team, so I assume they're gonna try to make a go of it. They said we'll see how he responds to treatment, so on and so forth. I don't think it's a hard game for the uh, the Warriors to win. The the Heat have been on a bit of a skid. They've been on a bit of a skid. They have lost. They just got to win against Charlotte the other night on March 23rd. Before that, they were on a what does this say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A 10-game losing streak. Mostly home games too. A lot of these weren't away; these were home games. Um, some of these were kind of close. Some of these were not close at all. They did pick up a win against Charlotte. Let's see here. Damn, am I reading that right? Yeah, they won that game, and Andrew Wiggins had 42 points. Wow. Okay, I didn't even hear about that. That's crazy. On the Warriors side of things, they put together a pretty good winning streak at the beginning of the month. They've dropped a couple against Denver and against Atlanta. They won against Milwaukee. That's when Steph got injured, I believe. So it's been almost a week's time, I would say. Um, yeah, almost a week's time. Um, but I think even without Steph, the Warriors can get this game. I think they match up very well against this Heat team. I think the big thing is going to be trying to guard Tyler Hero and trying to stop um, the bigs. Khalil Ware, who I'm a big fan of, Bam Adebayo. It's really stopping them. I think if Jonathan Kaminga can have a good game, if Draymond Green can have a big game, I I, I think I think this is a pretty convincing win, all things considered. Um, if we look at the Heat, their leading scorer right now is Tyler Hero. Their leading rebounder is Bam Adebayo. Assist leader Tyler Hero with only 5 assists is the team high this year, and Bam with the steals and Khalil with the blocks. Let's see who is on their injury list. The Heat's injury list. Uh, Nobody important. I mean, Duncan Robinson's day to day, and there's some other guys here. Um, so that game is tonight at 7:30. So give me the Warriors. I think the Warriors can get a pretty convincing win. Um, I think the main key for the Warriors always is to keep the lead in the fourth quarter and just not take your foot off the gas because this Heat team. I watched that Pistons game the other night. Very good game. and the Heat really made a run of it in the last like 5 minutes of the game. So if it's close, the Warriors need to keep pushing and keep going. So give me the Warriors tonight. Um, the late game tonight, Oklahoma and Sacramento. Um, the Oklahoma City Thunder are dealing with a lot of injuries currently. Chet Holmgren's day to day. Jalen Williams has been out for a bit now, and some other guys are out. Usman Dang is out, and some other of their small pieces are out. Let me see here. How have they been doing? They've had no trouble at all, coasting without Jalen Williams or any of the other guys. And on the other side, the Sacramento Kings have been bad. What do I have to say? I told you guys this freaking Zach Levine and DeMar DeRozan duo wasn't gonna work in Sacramento. It didn't work in when they teamed up in Chicago and played with the Bulls. It's not working out here. They put a couple wins together here and there. I see it was this 1, 2, 3, 4, a 4 game winning streak. They go on like a 4 game winning streak. They'll lose one, they win one, and then they lose four in a row. And they just can't find that consistency since they trade De'Aaron Fox. And players are upset. I mean, Zach Levine did a post game press conference where he's like, "We just don't know what we are. We just don't know what we're doing, etc., etc." All the stuff you don't want to hear from one of your star players. Um, they played they played Celtics the other night. They lost to them. DeMar DeRozan with 20, team high. Domantas Sabonis, team high rebounds 17, and DeMar DeRozan assists, team high 10. I don't know. I'm not gonna talk about the Kings too much, but obviously give me Oklahoma tonight. Oklahoma would be an easy win for them, I think. Um, even without, as long as they have one of their bigs, yeah, they're gonna have what's his face, Isaiah Hartenstein. Jeez, we couldn't get that name out. He's having a good season, leading the team in rebounds and blocks, so shouldn't be a problem for them. Give me Oklahoma, the late game tonight. And moving into the games tomorrow night, Wednesday night, we have Los Angeles Lakers in Indiana to play the Pacers, and Boston Celtics in Phoenix to play the Suns. Um, this first game, Indiana versus the Lakers. I've been liking the Pacers recently. I'm always like wishy washy on them, but they've put together, what is this, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 game winning streak. Granted, they played Minnesota twice, beat them twice. That was an overtime game, one of them. They beat the Nets twice. One of those games was an overtime game as well, and they beat Dallas. So they've been beating up on some bad teams, specifically Dallas and Brooklyn. Minnesota, very tight games there for them. And then the Lakers without LeBron have been okay. They've just been okay. They've been keeping their head above water. They're 43 and 28 on the season, looking pretty good. They've lost three in a row against a pretty competent Milwaukee team and against a pretty bad Chicago and Orlando team. That was on the 22nd and 24th, and now they're in Indiana, and then they'll play Chicago and then they'll play Memphis. I don't know how to digest that with this end of the schedule coming up. I'd have to look at the standings. Um, but seeing as the Lakers are on a skid, I'm going to say give me the Pacers, man. Give me the Pacers tomorrow night. Um, I mean, the Pacers are almost essentially what the Lakers don't like in another team is that they play with they play with pace, they play with space, and they're very active. They're a very active team, and they're a very talkative team. Um, they're a young team too. And when you have Luke out there and you have a couple of the other guys out there that aren't the best on defense, um, a team like the Pacers is gonna make you pay. Um, so give me the Pacers tomorrow night. And the late night game, Boston in Phoenix. I think Jason Tatum is out for them. I think he got injured against the Kings, like I had mentioned previously. So that makes this a little more interesting that Jason Tatum is probably out for them. He's day today, and Al Horford is day today as well. Um, let me see here. They did again. They won against Sacramento pretty convincingly. They've won against some pretty bad teams on this West Coast road trip. Um, and the Suns are just so weird at this point in the season. I don't know what to think about them. Um, they've put together a 4 game winning streak, which is very good for them. They haven't had a 4 game winning streak. They haven't had a 4 game winning streak since November 8th. That's crazy. It's been a we've had multiple holidays, we've had multiple things happen, and the Suns haven't had a 4 game winning streak since November. That's crazy. Um, I think this is an important game for them. Looking at their schedule here, they have to play Boston on Wednesday. They have to play Minnesota. They have to play Houston. They have to play Milwaukee. They have to play Boston again. Then New York. Then Golden State. Then Oklahoma. And then you get a little bit of break at the end of the season. San Antonio, Sacramento. This is an important game for them. And whenever I feel like I say this is an important game for the Phoenix Suns, they drop the ball completely. But this is an important game. If you can get a win against Boston and get a win against Minnesota, I'm not saying you're supposed to lose against Houston, Milwaukee, Boston, New York, but the way it's shaping up, if you can win those 2 games, you can lose a couple, and if the New York Knicks still don't have Brunson back, he's supposed to be back early April. That Knicks game is April 6th. You'd be okay. Um, but to talk about this game, it really comes down to if Jason Tatum is going to play or not. I think as a precaution he won't play. That being said, it would really only be who would it be? It would be Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Kristaps. Uh, I'm forgetting somebody here. Drew Holiday against Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and company. I'd say it's doable, but every time I say the Suns are going to win, they lose. And I'm going to make that mistake again. Give me the Suns on Wednesday. Give me the Suns on Wednesday. I think that'd be a great win for them to get. Um, moving into some other news, those are the games for the week, the primetime games. Anthony Davis made his return last night from his injury. Um, a pretty big moment. I didn't think he would. I didn't think he would play the rest of the season. I thought they would just shut him down, but he played and he played 27 minutes against the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn. He had 12 points, 3 assists, 1 block, 1 steal. Did not hit a three. Was very tentative. Didn't make a lot of shots. Took 9 of them, made 6. Um, but yeah, he's back for Dallas, and Dallas is not looking the best right now. They are 35-37. They're trying to hold on to a playing spot, but good to see Anthony Davis make a go of it. I did want to say I did see something that before this injury that happened against the Rockets. Um, his first game as a Maverick after the Luka Doncic trade. Um, apparently he wasn't healthy. Was not healthy. and he kind of rushed himself back to prove that like the trade Dallas got something in the trade, and he ended up getting injured. I just thought that was important to note that in this Houston game many months ago at this point, a month ago almost, more than a month ago actually, he wasn't healthy, and he had 26 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 blocks. Um, yeah, so I just want to put that out there that he was not healthy and he rushed back, and he probably shouldn't have rushed back. And he's probably not healthy right now, but it's probably as healthy as he's gonna get without an extended period of rest. Um, so yeah, the next thing I want to talk about very quickly is we're gonna move into some G League news, some NBA G League news, and the biggest news out of there. I said I wouldn't talk about Bronny James till he did something, and he did something the other night. Um, he had a career high, I guess, in professional basketball, right? Because G League is professional basketball. He had 39 points the other night. Right, that was last night. Yeah, last night. He had 39 points in a win against the Warriors G League team. He started the game um, as a point guard. Let me see if I'm reading this right. 4 steals, 4 assists, 7 rebounds, 1 block. He had 7 turnovers. I guess ignore that. 50% from three, 83 from free throw, 66% from regular field goal, just general field goal. He took 21 attempts and made 14 of them. That's some pretty impressive stuff. Now, I'm not buying the stuff that, oh, he is an NBA player, this and that. I think one good game doesn't make you an NBA player. He has put together a good stretch here in the G League. Um, I'm looking at it right now. If we go back to the beginning of the month, we'll just do the beginning of the month sample size here. Um, he had 16 points, 28 points, 24 points, 16, 16, 16, and then again last night, 39. So he has put together a competent stretch. I just think the worst thing still is that he's on the Lakers, and the Lakers want to compete, and he's just not going to get the runtime he needs with the Lakers, and he's just kind of stuck in this limbo where he can't get real NBA minutes because his team is too good, right? His team is supposed to be good, but he's slightly better than an average G League player, so he can play in the G League, but he puts up decent numbers. So I don't think we'll see this Bronny James. I'm not saying 39 points, but at least like a 20-point score, 18-point score. Till he's on another team. Unless Coach JJ Redick of the Lakers, wants to take a risk and throw him into the fire this late in the season, and he's gonna be on the playoff roster, that's for sure, because he has a regular NBA contract. But man, I just don't know when we're gonna see this. If he could be a 16-point scorer in the NBA, and he fills up the steals. There's only one game here. But the whole of this month actually, he's had a steal, at least one steal a game, which is really good. This is really good stuff. So we'll see. We got a Bronny James game before the end of the season, so good stuff for him. The last thing I want to talk about, some not so great news. Um, like I said earlier, the college tournament is happening. The national tournament is happening, and both the men's and women's side is going on. We're getting to the Sweet 16. Some great basketball is being played. Some great basketball was being played by USC's Juju Watkins, who I made a video about earlier this year, and talked about all the great things she was doing at the time, and obviously what she could do in the future. And now in the future, and a part of her future is an ACL injury. She tore ACL last night. Really heartbreaking stuff. I was watching this game live, and it was one of those injuries where the air just got sucked out of the room. It was dead quiet in the arena, and they lingered on it for a while, like a good like 5 minutes. We just heard silence, and whenever that happens, it's always creepy. And um, I got the impression throughout the game, um, obviously, the sideline reporter tried to do her job and tried to get some news. Couldn't get anything out of it. At halftime, they took her out of the arena, took her to get an MRI, and the coach did a halftime interview, I guess, right before the second half started, and she didn't look positive. She did not look in great spirits. So I had assumed as a basketball fan that it was something bad, and it came out around like 1 a.m. Um, this morning that she tore ACL. Um, and just for reference, the ACL is one of those injuries where it's usually a season and a half. By that I mean you're probably gonna be out all of next season, and part of the next season is still a part of that recovery, in the sense of you might be cleared to go, the injury might be healed, but it's a mental game as well with the ACL because it's in your knee, and it's about, do you trust that knee? Do you trust coming down on that knee and just landing normally? Do you trust yourself diving to the basket? Do you trust yourself doing your layup, your regular layup that you've been doing your whole life? Things like this change. Um, for her, it's a unique circumstance because this was her, I believe this was her sophomore year. Um, if I could look up her stats, hold on. If I can look up her stats, I can tell you what she's. I think she's a sophomore. Um, let's see. Let me find. I should probably know this. I'm almost positive she's a sophomore. Yeah, because she was a freshman last year. Yeah, she's a sophomore. Um, yeah, sophomore. Yeah. Why did I doubt myself? Um, so in the totality of this, I think she's okay. I think when you look at her rising star, obviously, um, this is a setback. Um, I don't want to be like a what do you call it, like a negative guy, but the way she plays relies a lot on her athleticism, relies a lot on her speed. Um, I think the work she has done, um, trying to get better, slowing down the game, working with NBA players like DeMar DeRozan, working on back to the basket game. That stuff becomes even more important when you are injured at such a young age. Um, she's only, what is she? She has to be like 21, right? Something like that. 20, 21, not even maybe like 19, 20. Um, these things can happen, and you can come back, and you probably won't have the same explosiveness or the same speed, but it's a chance to add to your game, to reinvent your game a little bit, add to your game, not be so three-dimensional, become more dimensional, um, and become a complete player. And I think you look at something like this as a setback, and I think you can also look at it as an opportunity to, obviously, you have to work to recover, do all that stuff. But then the next step is to expand your game and make your game that much more in depth. Um, to talk about her future just a little bit more, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here, but this would make her, she could be WNBA draft eligible in, what is that? So it was 23, 2026, 2027. Because I think when you're on a team like this and the team is actually really good, you want to stay and you want to try to win a national championship. This puts, obviously that puts that on hold. It puts her WNBA dreams on hold. I think there's always the the risk or the thought of like, well, if I stay in college and get injured again, what happens to my draft stock? You know. But if I go too early, do people look at me a bit differently because I've been injured already once already? You know. You look at a girl like Paige Beckers. for UConn, who's also had a lot of injuries, but nobody doubts that she. There are a few people that doubt she would go. She's going number one in this year's WNBA draft, but the mass consensus is that she will be number one. So it's a double edged sword. I wish Juju nothing but the best, but this is a huge blow. But there will be more Juju basketball in the future, and it would just have to be put on hold for a little bit. So yeah, that's the wrap up. Um, like I said, not a lot of primetime games. I'm not doing the game by game stuff anymore, at least till the playoffs. So you guys will get some different sort of videos this week, but stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And thank you for watching. I will see you all next time. Cheers.